What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video. Now, before we get into the video, we did pass 90,000 subscribers, so thank you guys so much for your support. I really appreciate it, especially going forward. 90,000 is a huge milestone, and 100,000 is just around the corner, so I can't wait till we hit 100,000 subscribers. That's going to be so cool. That's been a goal of mine for well over a year now, so just thank you guys so much for all your support. It really does mean a lot to me. Now, the topic of today's video is just pure hypothetical. As of right now, there is no plans for them to make a Battlefront 3. It's all hands on deck for Battlefield 6 when it comes to EA and DICE, which is one of the key factors as to why we stopped getting support for Battlefront 2. I mean, they really want to put all their eggs in one basket for Battlefield and sort of bring the game back to its former glory. So in this video, I want to go over just what exactly could they even do for Battlefront 3. A lot of people feel that there's no way to go up from Battlefront 2. I mean, Battlefront 2 has a lot of content. It got a lot of stuff that people requested. It has all three eras. It's got tons of maps. It has over 20 heroes. They all have their own individual abilities and playstyles. The game has a bunch of different characters and reinforcements and different skins and outfits and stuff. So I definitely understand the argument of, Battlefront 2 being kind of the top, the peak of Battlefront. But in my opinion, I do think that there's ways that they can improve on the franchise. And honestly, I think they need to step away from what they did in Battlefront 2. Now, there's definitely some aspects that I would like to see carried over if they did make a Battlefront 3. But I think if they eventually made a Battlefront 3, I think they need to take some ideas from their Battlefield franchise. I think the problem with Battlefront 2 is it's kind of dumbed down, it's kind of kid-friendly, it's very linear, it's only 20v20, and it kind of just limits what you can do. Even when they added Supremacy, when you go back and you look at the original Battlefronts, and it was mainly just conquest mode. It gave you one map, and it had different command posts, and you just wandered around and you captured the command post. But the maps were a lot smaller, and it felt like it was an intense battle the entire time. Now, when they added Supremacy to Battlefront 2, it just never felt the same as the original Battlefront. You can tell that Battlefront 2 wasn't made with the Supremacy mode in mind. They tried to make up the difference by adding bots, but it just never really felt the same. You can constantly wander around the map in Battlefront 2 Supremacy, and you can just not find anybody to kill. The AI are kind of pushovers sometimes, and they just aren't very smart. So I think going forward with Battlefront 3, they need to go with more of a Battlefield approach, as in having more players in the lobby. Instead of 20v20, make it 32v32. And now with the next-gen consoles, they're going to be able to raise that player count to even higher numbers. In certain games like Call of Duty Warzone, they've shown that they can put well over 150 people in one map. So the technology's there. They can definitely have more players in lobbies now. So going forward, give us 32v32 or 40 versus 40 or 50 versus 50. Just increase that player count to a massive level. Make it feel like an all-out battle the entire time you're playing a match. Plus, another thing with the Battlefield franchise is, it just feels intense the entire time you're in a match. It doesn't feel like there's ever a break in the action. There's constant explosions, buildings are collapsing. That's one of the things that makes Battlefield such a loved franchise, is those epic moments that makes it feel like an actual battle or a war is going on. It's so fun to be in a building in Battlefield and suddenly half the building gets blown up and the building collapses. You're getting hit by bombs, a tank shooting at you and exploding. You pop a smoke and you run in and try to revive your teammate and run out as bullets are flying by. Take that crazy, intense feeling that happens in a Battlefield match and apply that to Battlefront. Take the ability to get in and out of vehicles at the push of a button that is in Battlefield and was in the old Battlefront games, and apply that to the next Battlefront. If somebody wants to get into an ATST and then bail at the last second and somebody else wants to take it over and repair it and use it themselves, let them do that. If somebody is in an ATST and they decide to bail and then a rebel sees that it's empty and they want to take it, that should be an option. If somebody wants to get into an X-Wing and fly around and they take too much damage and they want to land the X-Wing and then fight on foot, that could be an option. Just imagine how epic it would be in a 50 versus 50 battle on Geonosis Geonosis, and there's a sandstorm blowing in, there's tons of lasers flying around you, tons of explosions, dirt's flying everywhere, and you can just get in and out of vehicles at your own will. I think that would be so cool. Imagine getting into an LAAT gunship, but it's not on rails. You can just get into the gunship, have 4 or 5 of your buddies get in, and they can use the lasers. Somebody could sit in the back and just shoot out of the back with their blaster, and you can just fly around wherever you want. I think that aspect is something that Battlefront 2 definitely missed out on, and I honestly think that making it more like the Battlefield franchise is the only way that they could improve going forward, to make it something different than what we've already got in Battlefront 2015 and Battlefront 2. Plus, one benefit that the Battlefield franchise has is that they make very large maps, and then for the other game modes, they take that large map and they break it down into smaller maps for those other game modes. They could do the same thing with Battlefront 3, that way they don't have to focus on making smaller maps just for those other modes. Give us a large map on Geonosis and then break it up into smaller maps for the other modes. Give us a large battle on Coruscant. Give us a large battle on Mustafar. Add all these other planets that we haven't seen already in Battlefront 2015 or Battlefront 2. There's still plenty of maps that we haven't seen yet. There's still plenty of battles, plenty of reinforcements that they could add, plenty of new heroes that haven't been added. I mean, there's still a lot of content. Basically, anything that we did not get in Battlefront 2, they could bring to Battlefront 3. Heroes like Ahsoka and Ventress have been requested basically the entire lifespan of Battlefront 2, which never saw the light of day. There's still reinforcements that they could add, like Grievous's bodyguards, the Royal bodyguards for Palpatine, the Praetorian guards for Snoke, or even the Knights of Ren. There's still plenty of options. Rebel honor guards that could protect Leia. So there's definitely still a lot of reinforcements, plus all the pre-existing content that was in Battlefront 2. They could add droidekas again, and clone commandos, and ARC troopers. I mean, all that content is still there. And I know that this might be a little controversial in the community, but I'd be okay if they locked it completely to first person. I think first person is widely overlooked in Battlefront 2 because you just have such an advantage to play in third person. I think if they locked it solely to first person and everybody had to play in first person, I think it would be a much more immersive and really cool experience. That way no one has the advantage of third person. And then if you had the opportunity to play as a vehicle or as a hero, you could switch between first person or third person. I think for Battlefront 3, depending on which camera angle they decide to go with, if they give you the option to switch between first and third person again, I think all of the heroes should have an option to play in first or third person. I think playing as a hero in first person would make the experience a lot cooler. Running around as a Jedi, deflecting blaster bolts, using your force powers, playing as Darth Vader and choking rebels in first person would be so cool to do. There's still countless blasters they could add to the game, countless skins they could add. All those skins that we didn't get in Battlefront 2, they could add to Battlefront 3. Even if they added something like a battle pass or an in-game store to have some sort of cosmetic currency, I guarantee people would be willing to spend money on it. I think that is one of the reasons that Battlefront 2 stopped getting support, was just that they weren't making any money. They kept pumping time and resources into giving out free content month after month after month. And the more free content they kept pumping out, they just weren't making their money back from the game. So as long as they don't have loot boxes and they don't make it pay to win, I think people would be okay with some sort of in-game currency. I'm not a fan of microtransactions at all. But if they're going to be in the game, I would at least understand if they are cosmetic only. And if the game's really good, I know a lot of people would be willing to spend money for certain skins. And not every battle pass is a bad idea. Some battle passes have a lot of free content on them for those that decide not to pay for the battle pass. So they could definitely go with a battle pass sort of option and just have a bunch of free cosmetics and stuff for people. But that is basically what I think that they could do for Battlefront 3, and that is what I would like to see from this franchise going forward. Yeah, I honestly think that making the game more like Battlefield is probably their best bet. Just have huge, gigantic battles, 30 versus 30 or more, destructible environments, vehicles that aren't on rails, getting in and out of vehicles at your own pleasure. Make it more like Battlefield and more like the original Battlefront 2 and Battlefront 1 from back in 2004 and 2005. Maybe make it first person only, or maybe have lobbies that are dedicated to just first person only. Add all those heroes and reinforcements that didn't get to come to Battlefront 2, like Ahsoka, Ventress, Padme, Jango Fett, countless bounty hunters, all the honor guards that they could add, all the multiple sets of skins. And I think if they did that, I think it would be a success. I think a lot of people would enjoy that kind of experience, and I think that's the only way that they can make it different from the previous 2 games. But that is just my opinion on what they should do. What do you guys think they should do going forward for Star Wars Battlefront 3? If you guys could make any version of Battlefront, let me know what it would be down in the comment section down below. But if you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. It is greatly appreciated, helps me out in the algorithm. If you guys are new here, be sure to hit that subscribe button and be sure to check out another video. And if you haven't yet, check out my Twitch at Swanee Plays Games Live, and be sure to join the channel's Discord. All those links are found in the description down below. And that's going to do it for me, and I will talk to you all in the next video.
We would be honored if you would join us. You cannot resist